Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel, and it's unscheduled viewing this week, a video on a Friday morning rather than a Tuesday morning. That's because we've taken a small bye on the Sun Chariot this weekend to talk about the jumps season. Yes, our first jumps racing season, the 2023-2024 campaign. We cannot wait to get started. We're joining at a fantastic time for the jump season. We're going in on the novice chasers to follow. Harry, we've been talking about jumps pretty much all summer with little jovial jokes here and there when talking about the flat, but now it's really on the horizon. I am going to be at Chepstow. I'm going to be there working on press, so it's officially there. I've sent the emails off. I'm in jumps mode, and you must be in jumps mode as well.
I've been in jumps mode all season. As soon as Punchestown was over, I was still in there. I tried to get my flat brain on. As most of you will probably know, it's not really worked, has it? I've had a few big winners here and there, but it's not been the same as last year. And for a while, Ash, I've just been looking forward to the jumps. And obviously, people say Chepstow's a massive thing. It's just obviously this kickstart of the season, so it's not really a mega thing in terms of the context of the season. However, it is good to be talking again about the jumps. There's so many exciting types, and I have a feeling now that the jumps is something that everyone is kind of looking towards, and some of the big races that are going to be coming up, people have already got their thoughts on them, and some of these novices that are stepping into open company. Constitution Hill, I mean, in the peak of flat season, everyone was talking about the best jump source in racing, so you can't beat the jumps, and we're nearly there. So yeah, I'm buzzing for it.
We're nearly. I always think, get Arc weekend out the way, and that's when you can start sort of really, really looking forward to the jump. Still appreciate the flat, obviously, and appreciate the flat as sort of like main priority personally until the Arc. But as soon as the Arc to Triumph is done, it's straight into jumps mode, and the jumps heads on. And just like we're going to be given 3 horses, each of us, novice chasers for this season to follow. And just looking through the horses, it was just bringing back old memories. It was nostalgia. And it was only last season we were talking about these horses. It's a fantastic time to be a jumps fan, to be a racing fan. Are you going to be, before we start, Harry, are you going to be attending any jumps fixtures coming up?
I actually should be at Chepstow, so I will see you. Fingers crossed, I will be there. 1, weather permitting, and 2, uni permitting. I'm lining up Utoxeter at the weekend at the local track. Do you know what though? It's funny, Ash, because obviously in the winter, you've got the flat racing on the all weather, but even in the summer, obviously you got the summer jumps. Everyone still looks forward to the summer jumps, whereas in the winter, no one cares about racing at Southwell or Wolverhampton for that matter, apart from Telf on Twitter. Yeah. That's his absolute cleaning up spot.
And for Tony Carroll as well. It's absolutely a fantastic place.
Yeah, bloodbath at Wolverhampton, Dunstall Park, horrible place to punt. But I should be around, Ash, to be fair.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. I'll see you there. Before we get started, I've been down at Fergal O'Brien's, and there will be a stable tour talking about some of his big runners on the channel. I'm editing it in the background. So it should be early next week, and that's what I'm hoping for. So it should be a full rundown of his big horses on the channel. So make sure to stick around for that. Harry, we're going to get stuck in. I'm going to go first. I'm going forward. I'm onto the pitch first of all to talk about the novice chasers to follow this season. And the first one I'm going for is Monty Star of Henry de Bromhead's. Interesting horse. This only had the 4 runs so far under rules. One of them was in the Albert Bartlett when pulling up 4-2 out. So I've put a small line through that. But this horse is a chaser in the making, really. He's been running over hurdles, obviously, and he actually won the Grade 3 Mercedes-Benz Novice Hurdle, and at least a Group 3 there. I'm still sort of in the flat brain there. But he's got a family that sort of says that he's going to be a chaser in time. He's a half to Monolly, who obviously, finished 4th in the 2020 Gold Cup, and also is a Grade 1 novice chase winner himself. And it's from the same as a full to Firm Footings, who was 6th in the Martin Piper, and looks like an interesting horse for Gordon Elliott and Coldwell Construction. Even Many Stars, who was with Dan Skelton, is a horse who won on Chasing debut. So there's plenty of sort of like scope to say he's going to be a much better chaser going forward this season. As I said, he sort of raced only those few times. It was a messy Albert Bartlett, so I've put a line through the Albert Bartlett. Nothing really went for him. But if you look at that Mercedes-Benz novice hurdle, he was in receipt of £6 from Hidden Valley Lake, who, lest we forget, Hidden Valley Lake, who absolutely bolted up in the first half of the season and looked a really, really promising type. And it still is a very, very promising type. Hidden Valley Lake gave £6 away to Monty Star, and Monty Star just kept grinding out from the front. I thought he was really, really good to win by half a length. RPRs had a Hidden Valley Lake better off than Monty Star. I suppose on official weights and ratings you have to, but if you listen to Henry de Bromhead afterwards, when talking about Monty Star, obviously it was a 1-2 for him with Hidden Valley Lake and Monty Star, but he said Monty Star has taken plenty of time to come to hand, and at that point they finally got him to sort of be a proper racer, and they said he had plenty of improvement to go. Unfortunately, his only next run was in the Albert Bartlett, where nothing really went for him, but I thought that he's got plenty of improvement to go, and a fence is only going to help that. That ground as well at Clonmel, in the sort of when he won that race against Hidden Valley Lake, awful ground. He's shown that he can handle soft ground, handle heavy ground, but he looks like a horse who could do with sort of good to soft ground, lovely racing ground, and he go through it as well. With that family around him, with the Monolith connection, I think he's a fantastic horse. He's by walk in the park. And for me, I forgot to put a little ticker on the screen there, but that just says a little bit about his pedigree. And I'm really excited about Monty Star this season, running in the same colours as the Gold Cup winner himself, Milena Indo. The name escaped me there. I'm looking forward to Monty Star this season, and that is my first horse for the horse to follow.
My first horse to give you is last season's Martin Pipe winner, Iroko. Now, Oliver Greenall and Josh Guerriero did a massive, massive job with this horse to land the odds in JP's first colours, which was in the Martin Pipe. Now, I just think this horse is going to be on to bigger and better things as a chaser. He's officially got a mark of 145. He was beaten 3 lengths behind Apple Away in the Grade 1 at Aintree last time out. Now, 145 suggests that he probably might be struggling for handicaps like the Martin Pipe was. I think he's well up to winning another graded race. Listen, he's got to improve, and I think he's a horse that will definitely appreciate underfoot conditions. Obviously, he was a winner at Cheltenham on soft ground. However, he will handle the good ground. He was a winner at Wetherby on good ground over 2 mile 3. He's very versatile trip-wise as well, because all he did was seem to stay behind Apple Away. He was closing at the line, and even though she wasn't stopping, he wasn't either. And I think that level of form will certainly be very useful going into the start of the season and throughout, actually. So you could see him rocking up, I don't know, in a novice chase somewhere, and then taking on the big guns maybe at Christmas time, and then back into the likes of the Brown Advisory. You've got many of those races that you can kind of target as such. So he's definitely one to keep on side. He's only a 5-year-old, so he's going to have plenty of more scope to come.
No, he's just on Iroko, I think he's a very interesting horse, and the fact that most of his runs have been on sort of that soft ground, but he still won on good ground at Wetherby at the start of last season, and he's a horse who obviously can take his runs a little bit, and he can go further on the season. He won at Cheltenham, then he finished third at Aintree in a fairly decent race at Aintree with the Grade 1 behind Apple Away. So yeah, 5 years old, could be a very interesting horse. I'll lead straight into my second horse to look at for this season. And I'm going to start it off with a quote. I spoke to a certain jockey who rides this horse at the end of last season, and I asked him for one horse to follow for Gloucestershire Live readers. And the quote he gave me was, "I like St. Davy a lot. He won a bumper in the early season, then won a maiden hurdle at Chepstow. And he's gone to a Grade 1 at Aintree in the spring, and he's probably got a bit tired because the ground was a bit soft on the Friday of the Aintree Grand National meeting. But he thought he ran a really good race. He took me to the second last, and that was on his only second ever start over hurdles, and it was in a Grade 1. So he's really happy with the run, and he finished off with, he's going to be a chaser, and I like him a lot. So St. Davy is the horse that I'm picking out as my second horse to follow for this season. As Jonjo O'Neill Jr. said there, really interesting horse. Won 3 in a row, including his point-to-point, his bumper, and his maiden hurdle between November 2021 and December 2022. As John said there, he was chucked into a Grade 1, and he was running a competitive race of things before he sort of tired late on. First start in a competitive rules race at 3 miles on what was sort of fairly soft ground. If you go back and watch his maiden hurdle win at Chepstow, him and Hymack have been of Harry Fry's, pulled massively clear, 20 lengths clear of the third. And he seems to move into his race really fluently. He's a nice mover. He's not a big one of these big galloping types that will take 5 feet of turf with them. He slides into his race beautifully. So that sort of better ground could work out in his favour, though he has shown himself to be quite effective on the softer conditions. And looking at a maiden hurdle win at Chepstow, the way he got up, I genuinely can't believe to this day how he got up that day, because he was half a length down, about 2 strides from the line, going backwards, and he got up to win by a short head. I actually was there that day. It was Welsh National Day, and the celebration Jonjo O'Neill Jr. gave. I'll clip this video in now because he just gave it an absolute. He gave it a big one, like he just won the Gold Cup. He really played up to the fans. I thought it was brilliant. But look, he's a fantastic horse. I think personally, St. Davy. He's got like a big heart in him, and he cost 270 grand at the Goss Point sale in December 2021, having bolstered by 8 lengths. The ceiling is massive, and I looked at his pedigree, as you can see on the screen. Balco out of a Polyglot mare. That cross works out fairly nicely in the sort of 5 or 6 offspring there have been so far. I Am a Star won a couple of listed races in France, is currently with Noel George and Amanda Zetterholm in France right now. And Legislator won 3 in a row in 2021 and picked up the Grade 1 Prix Ferdinand Dufresne for Francis Nicole. So look at that French, pulling that French horn.
That was good.
I try when I can, but that's the cross between Balco as the sire and Polyglot as the dam sire. So that cross of a horse works, and hopefully St. Davy can be another one that will boost that form and boost that cross again. It could be a really interesting horse this season for Jonjo O'Neill and Jonjo O'Neill Jr. in the saddle.
My second horse is a horse I've already mentioned on this video. Now, Iroko was beaten by a special mare at Aintree, and it is Apple Away. She is going to be one of my horses to follow, and especially over novice chases this season. Now, Lucinda Russell, we were mentioning off camera, Ash, weren't we? I think she's bound for a brilliant year. The firepower she's got. She had a treble at Perth, I think it was last week. All of her guns seem to be firing, and it usually happens all throughout the year as well. Now, just on Apple Away, she started off last season winning a novice hurdle at Bangor. She then went to Cheltenham. She was fairly beaten. She then went to Kelso, was beaten again, but that's when it all started to come right. She was unlucky at Haydock. She went to where she won a handicap off 113, then went to Doncaster. Now, I did say the Doncaster form would be pretty good. Now, She's a Saint was in 4th that day. She's a Saint actually finished behind. Ash, do you know who She's a Saint finished behind on her penultimate start? She was a Cheltenham winner this season.
You Wear It Well.
Bang on. Yes, she finished behind You Wear It Well of obviously Jamie Snowden's, and I said that form would be something to take in mind. She then went to Aintree, and that was her best performance today. If you're a fan of Only Fools of Horses, I was so keen on her, especially with the ground coming. I said she won't stop, and oh boy, she didn't. She was superb. She's going to be tackling fences now. She was due to actually run. I think it was pretty soon. But I think she was taken out. Maybe ground wise, I'm not too sure. However, for Old Gold Racing, Apple Away is my second horse to follow, and I think she's bound for another big year.
She's you'll be able to tell me this. She is ridden out by Peter Scudamore, like regularly. Peter handles her. Yeah.
Peter loves her. I did a piece. I got a few quotes from Peter for Racing Weekly. If you're not subscribed, here's a little plug. Make sure you do subscribe. It is free. But no, Peter Scudamore basically said that she's in great order. He's loved her as soon as she walked through the door at Lucinda's yard. So I think when Peter kind of attaches his heart to a horse, I think they're going to be held in pretty high regard, and she certainly is.
The final horse for me to follow in the novice chasing division, it's hard to pick down to just 3. There were so many horses that I was really interested in this season. But with the 3 that I've gone for 3 that are potentially off some people's radars who are now creeping back onto it. And I'm sticking with the theme of Lucinda Russell and the team around her, because the Legislator is the horse that I'm going to talk about. Really interesting horse that Lucinda I was on a call with Lucinda and Peter Scudamore for Claymore Racing, actually. And if you don't follow Claymore Racing and aren't involved with Claymore Racing, do check them out. Fantastic syndicate by Cam Sword, who obviously part owner of Corach Rambler. But on that call, they were talking about the Legislator, and they said that he could be a Corach Rambler type horse. And there seems to be some nice words for this horse going forward. As you can see, 6-year-old on his screen, and I can see why. Picked up for 170,000 in April 2022. The team behind him decided not to go to bumpers. They went straight into novice hurdles and won really nicely first time out over hurdles. And then the next time had to really dig in that day on the second start over hurdles. But once he started got going, he jumped the last. And then he kicked on again. I thought he did really well. Again, just lovely big heart on him. Very much like Corach Rambler, and the way you see Corach Rambler winning his Ultima and winning his Grand National. He just digs it out. He gets there. He gets in a prominent position, and he goes again. He disappointed when stepping up to 3 miles for the Prestige Novices Hurdle in February, but I think you can put a small line through that. It's a step up in trip. Ground maybe wasn't to his liking, but I thought he was really, really interesting horse this season, and I thought he was last season. Again, like the 3 that mentioned before, only had sort of that 3 or 4 runs, and in this case, only had the 4 runs, including point to point. And won 3 of them. Looks like I have a massive ceiling. And this horse, I think, officially rated around the mark of 115 or in and around sort of mid 110s to 120s. There could be plenty of improvement to come over fences, that's for sure. And you may not be seeing this horse competing in grade 1s instantly or around Christmas time, or you may not even see this horse in a grade 1 this season. But it seems like there's a fair bit of confidence behind this horse being decent, and you could see this popping up in a nice handicap sort of in the springtime or around Christmas time, and being a very interesting prospect for Lucinda Russell and the team. I think the Legislator is a very, very smart horse, and hopefully a fence can only bring out some more improvement. So my third and final horse of the novice chasing division to follow for this season is the Legislator for, as mentioned, Lucinda Russell.
And my final horse to follow for the Novice Chase division this year is Nicky Henderson's Russian Ruler. Now, Russian Ruler, I've started his career back in 2021 by winning a Warwick bumper. Usually pretty smart prospects win Warwick bumpers. You see so many of them nowadays that do come out to bigger and better things. And this horse has actually finished some in behind some very, very good horses. The likes of Orkan Risk. We've seen what Orkan Risk done. Obviously, the Betfair Hurdle winner. And obviously, Mariko Davassi finished behind on his first hurdling debut. But then, actually, at Newbury, he stepped up to 2 mile 4 for the first time. And stamina issues were a big worry for this horse. But this horse looked home and hosed. I mean, we know what Stay Away Faye's done. Obviously, winning the Albert Bartlett this season, finishing behind Apple Away at Aintree.
Another plug.
Well, do you know what? I said it to you, didn't I? I said they're all linking together, so it's brilliant. Yeah. But Russian Ruler was actually about 10 lengths in front, jumping 2 out in Stay Away Faye's novice hurdle win. Finished behind He's a Geezer as well, who those two were in front of Russian Ruler. But then it's actually, I was more impressed by the way this horse travelled through the race. Now, even though he got tired, I mean, he stepped up 4 furlongs. Half a mile from his grade 2 defeat to Orkan Risk. So I think this horse is an out-and-out 2 mile. He's full of speed. He can go some clip, and he jumps pretty well on the whole. And I think as a chaser this year, he's by Sholokov. I mean, we know how well Nicky Henderson does with Sholokovs, the likes of Shishkin, etc. And I think Russian Ruler this year is going to be a threat. Off 127, that is a dangerous mark for this horse. I mean, he pissed in on his last 2 starts. And if there's any amount of improvement for France, which Nicky Henderson usually ekes out, he's going to be a threat. They were our 6 horses to follow for this year's Novice Chase division. If you did like this style of video, please do let us know in the comment section down there. Please do please do press the subscribe. It takes how long, Ash?
I could literally do it in half a second right now, Harry. That quickly.
Half a second is all it takes. It helps us massively. We really appreciate all of the support. And Ash, you have a few other bits to talk about.
Yes, I do. This is usually what Lee does, so I'm stepping into the shoes here. But Lee will be back next week ahead of Chepstow, so we are really looking forward to Chepstow, of course. But we have got a competition running with Hacked Up. gifts on Twitter. If you go over to our Twitter page to celebrate the launch of our new Sunday show, which will be happening next weekend, so next Sunday, 7 till 8. They've got a massive bundle of prizes to be winning. Plenty of t-shirts, socks. We've got the Road to Cheltenham planner from Hacked Up, and mugs of all your favorite colors, horses, whatever you like, on the Hacked Up gifts section. Just go onto our Twitter page, look at our tweet. It's retweet, tag a friend, follow Hacked Up and ourselves, Only Fools Love Horses Racing, on Twitter. That's the competition we've got running now. It's got plenty of traction already, and entries will be closing soon. So make sure to get it in while you can and be in it to win it, as they say, with the competition. Like Harry said, though, please do like and subscribe. We'll be back 10:30 a.m. on Saturday for our Saturday live. So for all of you looking for some flat fancies, I'm going to have to put Harry on a leash and get him to bring out some more flat fancies. Just a couple more times, Harry. It will be over soon.
I'm hosting, so it's going to be carnage. It's going to be absolutely carnage
no
on
going
Saturday.
out on Friday. No going out on Friday. No, so we'll be back 10:30 a.m. on Saturday for our Saturday live. So the Sun Chariot Day, as Harry said, if you did enjoy, please do like, subscribe. And there were so many horses to talk about. We've got plenty more of these horses to talk about as we head into the jump season. If you're having a bet this week, please do gamble responsibly, and we'll see you very, very soon with the next video.